In the quiet hours, when the world sleeps, Maya Sterling wrestles with the invisible chains of family loyalty, where every call from Uncle Cole pulls her deeper into a web of guilt and unspoken demands. Her heart aches for peace, yet the toxicity seeps in, threatening to drown her resolve. Tonight, she decides to unburden herself, facing the lens of truth alone as she begins to recount how it all unraveled, starting small with those seemingly innocent conversations that masked a growing storm. I sit here in the dim light of my living room. I sit here in the dim light of my living room, the camera propped on a tripod like some makeshift confessional. My hands fidget in my lap, fingers twisting the hem of my sweater. It's late, the house quiet except for the hum of the fridge. I take a breath, steady but heavy, like I've been carrying this weight for years. And I have. It started small, the way these things do. Uncle Cole would call, his voice all concern, asking about the kids, about Luis and me. But it always twisted. Why weren't we visiting more? Why was I so distant? He'd remind me of family duties, how Mom would want us all together. Guilt, every time. I'd cancel my plans, drive over with takeout, sit through his lectures on how I'm letting everyone down by focusing on my own life. The visits stretched longer, his comments sharper, picking at Luis's job, my parenting, like he had a right to it all. Then the texts, late nights. Your sister Tessa needs you. Don't abandon us like this. Or after a fight, I'd try to avoid. You're breaking the family apart. I'd respond, apologize, show up again. Each time, it drained me more. Sleepless nights, snapping at Luis, the kids sensing the tension. I thought if I just kept going, smoothed it over, peace would hold. But it's not peace. It's me, dissolving. Last week, Cole showed up unannounced, banged on the door until I opened it. He pushed in, talking over me about some crisis with the relatives, how I owed it to everyone to host the next gathering. I said no, quietly. He laughed, called me selfish. I felt it crack something inside, the exhaustion turning to this quiet fire. I locked the door after he left, not just the front door. Something in me clicked shut. I can't carry their chaos anymore. Not alone. Luis sees it, holds me when I break down. Tessa, she gets it, I think, but she's caught in the middle. I've hit the end. I need distance, real boundaries, or I'll lose what's left of us. But saying no, does that make me the villain? Or just me? The kitchen light hums softly, casting long shadows across the cluttered counter. Maya stands by the sink, hands gripping the edge, her knuckles white. Cole leans against the fridge, arms crossed, his smile thin like he's holding back a lecture. The family photo sits on the windowsill nearby, edges frayed from years of handling, a tear starting at the corner where her face meets the frame, as if it's pulling away. You're too good for this, Maya, Cole says, voice smooth, eyes fixed on her. Always the peacemaker. But Luis? Come on. He's dragging you down, isn't he? No ambition, no roots in the family. You owe us more than that. Her stomach twists, anxiety spiking like a knot in her chest. She glances at the photo, remembering the last gathering, the forced smiles. Uncle Cole, it's not like that. Luis is steady. He supports me. He steps closer, chuckling low. Steady? That's code for boring. We've all seen it. You could have done better, stayed closer. Remember what your mom would say? Family first, or you're just alone. His tone dips, the compliment souring into threat. Don't make us the villains for caring. You'd hate to disappoint everyone. Maya's breath catches, heart pounding. She forces her gaze back to him, jaw tightening. The photo's torn edge catches her eye again, a quiet accusation. She's tired of this dance, the way his words wrap around her like chains. "I don't want to disappoint," she says, voice steadying despite the shake in her hands. "But I can't keep proving it your way." Cole's eyes narrow, but she holds her ground, the anxiety ebbing into something firmer, a wary resolve building. She turns slightly, away from him, toward the door. The pressure lingers, unspoken. Live by their rules, or watch the memories tear further. The kitchen clock ticks past midnight, its soft glow cutting through the dim light. Maya sits at the table, her hands wrapped around a cooling mug of tea, the steam long gone. Luis leans against the counter, arms crossed, his face steady in the shadows. She's been quiet for too long, staring at the floorboards worn from years of pacing. "I can't keep doing this," she says finally, her voice low, frayed at the edges. Cole's calls, the visits that aren't visits, they're just invasions. And Tessa keeps pulling me back in, like if I don't show up, I'm the villain. She rubs her eyes, the weight of it pressing down, exhaustion seeping into every word. "What if I wake up one day, hating them all? Hating you, even for making me choose?" Luis doesn't move right away. He nods once, slow, letting her words settle. The room feels smaller, the air thick with her unspoken fears. Outside, through the window, the first hint of dawn creeps in, a quiet gray, lightening the horizon, promising a morning without alarms or demands. "You're not choosing against them," he says, his tone even, like gravel underfoot. "You're choosing us. This." He gestures vaguely at the space between them, the house they've built. "If distance keeps you whole, that's not betrayal. It's what we've got to survive." Maya looks up, her shoulders slumping a fraction less. The tiredness lingers, but something shifts, a spark of resolve hardening in her chest. She glances out the window again, watching the sky pale, the world stirring awake in silence. No fanfare, just the steady turn of light. Could she draw that line without it feeling like a cut? The question hangs there, unanswered, as she reaches for his hand. The dining room hummed with the clink of silverware and forced laughter, the air thick from the roast chicken and unspoken resentments. Maya sat at the end of the long oak table, her fork pushing peas around her plate. Across from her, Uncle Cole leaned back in his chair, his smile sharp as he passed the mashed potatoes to Aunt Rita. Luis, beside Maya, squeezed her knee under the tablecloth, a quiet anchor in the storm she knew was brewing. It started innocently enough. Cole cleared his throat, eyes locking on Maya. "So, Maya, still playing house with that new routine of yours? Skipping the holidays, locking the door on family time? I mean, we all love you, kiddo. That's why it hurts when you shut us out like this." The table fell quiet. Tessa, Maya's sister, paused mid-bite, her gaze flicking between them. Relatives shifted, forks hovering. Maya's pulse quickened, a knot tightening in her chest. She forced a nod, voice steady but thin. "It's not shutting out, Uncle Cole. We're just prioritizing what works for us right now." Cole chuckled, low and knowing, leaning forward. "Prioritizing? Come on, that's code for abandoning the people who raised you. Your mom would be heartbroken. God rest her, if she saw you ditching us for some perfect little bubble. Love isn't a switch you flip off when it's inconvenient." Heat flushed Maya's face. Each word landed like pressure on a bruise. The room closing in with nods from cousins and Rita's sympathetic sigh. Anxiety clawed up her throat. What if this fractured everything? What if saying no made her the villain? She glanced at the mantel behind Cole, where the old family photo sat, its edge torn from some long-ago argument, the frame crooked but still displayed, a reminder of cracks that never fully healed. Tessa spoke up softly. "Cole, ease up. Maya's got her own life." But Cole waved her off. "I'm just saying, blood's thicker than whatever wall you're building. You owe us more than this cold shoulder." Maya's grip tightened on her napkin. The anxiety twisted, but beneath it, something hardened. A spark of resolve pushing back. She set her fork down, the clatter cutting the hum. "No, Uncle. I don't owe anyone my exhaustion. We've tried the visits, the calls. It drains us. I'm done pretending it's okay." The table erupted in murmurs. Cole's face reddened. "Done? That's betrayal talking." Luisha's hand stayed firm on her leg. Tessa met her eyes, conflicted but silent. Maya stood, chair scraping back. "Call it what you want. We're leaving." She walked out, the torn photo blurring in her periphery as the door clicked shut behind her. The facade held, for now, but at what cost? Maya slipped into Tessa's kitchen after the others had left the house, the door clicking shut like a held breath. The room smelled of cooling coffee and faint lavender from the diffuser on the counter. Tessa stood at the sink, rinsing a mug, her back turned, shoulders hunched as if bracing for rain. "Tessa," Maya said softly, her voice threading the quiet air. She leaned against the counter, fingers tracing the edge of a chipped tile. "I need to talk. Just us." Tessa paused, water dripping from her hands. She dried them on a towel without turning fully. "What's this about, Maya? If it's Cole again—" "It is." Maya swallowed, the words heavy in her throat. She glanced at the fridge, where that old family photo hung, the one from the lake house years ago. The edges were frayed, one corner torn where it had caught on something during a move. Their smiles looked forced even then, Cole's arm slung too possessively around them all. "He's not stopping." The calls, the drop-ins, the way he twists everything to make me feel like I'm the one breaking us. It keeps me stuck, Tessa, like I'm drowning in his version of family. And if I fight it, I drag everyone down. Tessa finally faced her, eyes flickering with uncertainty. She crossed her arms, the towel still clutched in one hand. "He's family, our brother. He's rough around the edges, sure, but he's trying in his way. You know how he gets when he feels pushed out." Maya's chest tightened, doubt swirling like fog in her mind. Was she wrong to pull this thread? Trying. He called Luis a deadbeat last week, right in front of the kids. Said I was throwing away everything for a man who doesn't get it. And you just sat there. Your silence lets him do it. It keeps me trapped, pretending it's all okay to keep the peace. Tessa's gaze dropped to the floor, then lifted to the photo. She reached out, absently smoothing the torn edge with her thumb, as if mending it could fix the rest. "I don't know what you want from me. If I side with you, it's like picking sides in a war. Cole's always been the one who holds us together, even if it's messy. What if calling him out just makes everything worse? For all of us." The question hung between them, unspoken but sharp. Could Tessa help without betraying? Maya felt the doubt crack open, giving way to a quiet ache, a resolve settling in her bones like sediment. She stepped closer, voice steady now, though her eyes stung. "I don't need you to fight him. Just a little support. Tell me you see it, that you get why I can't keep letting this in. Preserving myself isn't selfish. It's the only way I can be here for my own family." Tessa hesitated, her fingers lingering on the photo's rip. Tears came unbidden, hot and messy, soaking her shirt as sobs racked her body. It wasn't just the argument. It was everything. The years of swallowing her anger, the forced smiles at gatherings, the way Cole twisted every boundary into a betrayal. And Tessa, her own sister, just sitting there, not saying a word. Why? To keep the peace? Or because she thought Maya should too? Her hands trembled as she clutched her arms around herself, rocking slightly. The exhaustion hit like a wave she'd been holding back, every muscle aching from the effort of holding it together. How many times had she bent? For Cole's advice that left her doubting Luis, for the relatives' calls that drained her nights. Her head throbbed, vision blurring. She was breaking, piece by piece. And for what? To prove she was the good one. A door stood at the end of the hall, Luis's study door, closed tight since the fight started. She stared at it, the knob unmoving, a quiet barrier between the chaos outside and whatever peace waited inside. If she knocked, no, not now. She pressed her forehead to the floor, breath steadying just enough to think. This wasn't living. Bending until she snapped left, nothing of her. Just fragments for them to pick over. Luis's footsteps approached softly from the kitchen. He didn't speak, just knelt beside her, his hand warm on her shoulder. She looked up, saw the worry in his eyes, the unspoken understanding. Tessa's silence echoed louder now, widening the gap. But Luis, he got it. The distance she craved wasn't abandonment. It was air. Necessary. What would be left if she kept going like this? The question hung there, unanswered, as clarity pierced the fog. She couldn't bend any more, not without losing herself entirely. The afternoon light slanted through the half-drawn blinds of Maya's kitchen, casting thin stripes across the linoleum. She stood by the sink, hands gripping the edge of the counter, as Cole paced the small space like he owned it. His voice was already edged with that familiar demand, the one that always started low but built fast. You have to come to the barbecue next weekend, Maya. Everyone's expecting it. Your aunt's been asking about you and Luis nonstop. Family sticks together. You know that. Maya felt the wariness coil in her chest, a tight knot from years of these talks. She glanced at the clock. Luis would be home soon, and Tessa had texted earlier about maybe stopping by. But this wasn't about them right now. It was her choice, staring her down. I can't, Cole, she said quietly, her voice steady but soft. Not this time. These things, they wear on Luis. He comes home drained, and it's the same for me. My nerves are shot after the last one. Cole stopped pacing, his face twisting. Can't? What do you mean can't? This is family. You're choosing to skip out? After everything we've done for you? The word, betrayal, hung unspoken, but heavy in his glare. Maya's pulse quickened, guilt flickering like a shadow, old habits dying hard. But she didn't back down. Instead, she turned toward the door leading to the hallway, the one that separated their quiet home from the world outside. Her hand reached for the knob, and she clicked the lock into place with a small, deliberate snap. It wasn't slammed, it was just secure. Cole's fury broke then, his voice rising. You're locking me out? Just like that? This is how you repay loyalty? By turning your back on your own blood? She met his eyes, the wariness melting into something firmer, a resolve that surprised even her. It's not turning my back. It's protecting what I need to. Luis gets it. He's been telling me to do this for months. And Tessa, she'll see why soon enough. He sputtered, stepping closer, but the locked door stayed between them, a simple barrier that felt like miles. Maya didn't unlock it. She just stood there, heart pounding, but feet planted, wondering if this no would snap the thread or finally let her breathe. Cole stormed out the front, the screen door banging behind him, leaving the kitchen silent, except for the hum of the fridge. Luis found her there later, key in hand, but still locked. He nodded. No words needed. Tessa called that evening, her voice hesitant. Heard about the barbecue. You okay? Maya exhaled, the choice settling like a weight, lifted. But in the quiet, the question lingered. Could she say no and still hold on to what mattered? Or was this the fracture that couldn't be mended? Maya stood in the narrow hallway of her suburban home, the late afternoon light slanting through the blinds like bars on a window. Cole loomed in the doorway, his arms crossed, that familiar smirk tugging at his mouth, the one that always made her stomach twist. She'd invited him in for this, one last time, to say it clear and final. No more dodging, no more half measures. Cole, listen, she said, her voice steady but edged with the fatigue of 100 unspoken fights. I'm done with this. The calls, the drop-ins, the way you twist everything to make me feel like the bad guy. From now on, I engage on my terms. If that means less contact or none at all, that's my choice. I'm picking peace for me and my family over whatever punishment you think I deserve. He uncrossed his arms, stepping closer, his eyes narrowing. The air thickened, the kind of tension that pressed against her chest. Peace. Maya, come on. You're talking like I'm the enemy here. Family doesn't just cut and run. Remember when your mom was sick? Who was there? Me. And now you're throwing that away because of some boundary bullshit? Luis put you up to this, didn't he? Turning you against your own blood. She felt the pull, that old guilt coiling like a habit she couldn't shake. Her hands clenched at her sides, but she didn't step back. The hallway felt smaller, the walls closing in with his words, each one a hook trying to reel her in. Tension hummed in her veins, hot and insistent. No, she cut in, sharper now. This isn't about Luis or anyone else. It's about me. I've spent years trying to keep everyone happy, smoothing over your jabs, your demands. But it's killing me, Cole. Literally wearing me down. I won't do it anymore. He leaned in, voice dropping to that fake, concerned whisper. You're breaking your mother's heart. You know that. All of us. If you walk away, that's on you. Selfish, disloyal. How's that peace feel now? The words landed like punches, but Maya held her ground. Her breath came even, resolve hardening in her core. A quiet fire she'd been stoking for weeks. She turned toward the living room door, the one leading to the rest of her home, her life. It's done, Cole. We're family, sure, but not at the cost of my sanity. Call if you want to respect that. Otherwise, stay away. She pushed the door shut behind her, the click of the lock echoing soft but final. Through the wood, she heard him rattle the knob, his voice muffled, insistent. Maya, open up. We can talk this out. You're making a mistake. But she didn't. She leaned against the door for a second, heart pounding, then walked away, toward the kitchen where Luis waited, toward the quiet she was claiming. The door stayed locked, silent between them, his pleas fading into nothing. Could she hold this line? Really? The doubt flickered, but her steps didn't falter. The morning light filtered through the half-drawn blinds, casting soft stripes across the kitchen table. Maya stood at the counter, pouring coffee into 2 mugs, her movements deliberate, like she was mapping out the day ahead. No rush, no glance at her phone for the inevitable text from Cole or one of the aunts. Just the quiet hum of the fridge and the distant chirp of birds outside. Luis came in from the backyard, wiping his hands on a towel after watering the plants. He nodded at the calendar pinned to the fridge, where they'd marked out their weeks in clean blocks. Dinner with friends on Friday, no family drop-ins without notice. Looks solid, he said, his voice steady, as he took the mug she offered. We stick to this? She nodded, but her fingers tightened around her own cup. The weight settled in her chest again, that hollow space where the old chaos used to fill every corner. No more last-minute calls pulling her away. No more forcing smiles through unannounced visits that left her drained. They'd told Tessa last night, over a quick text, "We're setting limits. Space, for now." Her sister had replied with a simple heart emoji. No pushback, but the silence after felt heavy, like an echo of all the fractures. Maya sipped her coffee, staring out the window at the empty driveway. It was peaceful, this quiet morning, but it pressed on her too. The solitude of choices made. What if the quiet stretched on, turning former voices into ghosts? She pushed the thought down, focusing on Luis's hand, brushing hers as he leaned against the counter. "It's weird," she admitted, her voice low. "Feels like I'm holding my breath." He squeezed her fingers gently. "You're not. This is us breathing. No lectures, just that calm anchor she clung to. For the first time in months, the house felt like theirs. Undisturbed, the air lighter without the shadow of obligation. As they sat down to plan the week, Maya felt the heaviness shift, easing into something tentative. A cautious calm, blooming in the stillness. She could build with this, but in the back of her mind, the question lingered. Could she truly settle into silence when the old ties hung mute? Maya sat at the kitchen table, the phone pressed to her ear, her free hand fidgeting with the edge of a napkin. The morning light filtered through the blinds, soft and unassuming, painting the room in pale gold. She hit record on her laptop before Tessa's call came through, the confession already forming in her mind, like a breath she'd held too long. "Hey," Tessa's voice crackled, hesitant, like she was testing the water. I saw your message about not coming to the next gathering. I get it, Maya. Really. Cole's been pushing everyone, but you're right to step back." Maya's chest tightened, anxiety twisting like a knot she couldn't untie. She glanced out the window at the quiet sunrise, creeping over the neighbor's roof. Calm, steady, the kind of light that didn't demand anything. "It's not easy, Tess. I feel this grief, like I'm losing part of us. But there's relief too. Finally breathing without his voice in my head, guilting me into showing up." A pause, stretched on the line, Tessa's breathing uneven. Maya could picture her sister's face, brow furrowed, weighing words against old habits. "I hesitated when you first told me," Tessa admitted, finally. "Part of me wanted to say you were overreacting, that family sticks together no matter what. But that's what he's always said, isn't it? And look where it's gotten us. I support you. Just keep the door cracked, okay?" For me, the anxiety ebbed, shifting into something firmer, a quiet justification for the walls she'd built. Maya nodded to herself, her voice steadying. "I'm scared I'll regret it, Tess. That you'll all think I'm the one who broke us. But this distance, it's how I keep what's left of me intact. For Luis, for the kids, even if it means we're not as close." Tessa sighed, supportive, but distant, like she was standing on the other side of a line she wouldn't cross yet. "I get that. Take your time. I'll be here when you're ready." Maya ended the call and leaned back, eyes on the sunrise, now fully brightening the sky. She spoke to the camera, raw and unfiltered. "It's done. The grief hits hard, but so does this peace. Loyalty to myself first. Turns out that's not selfish. It's survival." She paused, the question lingering unspoken. Could she really trust this distance as the care she deserved? The light outside held no answer, just quiet promise.